Cool. Right, guys, welcome to the masterclass. So this is the New Year masterclass. So all focused on getting ready for January, really starting off the year strong. I imagine we're all at a point where we are absolutely crawling to the finish line. Please put a two in the Zoom chat if you can relate to that at all. If you can relate to feeling exhausted this time of year, pop a two in the chat. If you are feeling like you're absolutely crawling to the end, the end is feeling like it's been a million and one years this half term. I always think autumn two and autumn one are like the hardest. I think they're so long, aren't they? They're like an 8 week and then another 8 week or something, and it's dark and it's cold and oh, who else's class is absolutely crazy at this point of year as well. I think, with it being Christmas time, it's just absolutely wild at this time of year, and I'm sure you guys can all relate. So this is all about New Year. You guys are probably breaking up this Friday, so I wanted to do it this week because I wanted you guys to be able to come away from this, have a bit of time to digest it over the half term, get your head around it a little bit, and then hopefully put some things in place. And I'm basically starting, especially with the girls inside the coaching program. We're starting the new year from Monday, the 5th of January. I think lots of you are back at school then, so it just seems appropriate to be like, right, new year, that's when we're all locking in. And we are still going strong. Loads of the girls are still going strong this week, but I think having that goal and that intention set from the 5th of Jan is what we're really doing at the minute. And this is what I want to talk about today is getting you a plan in place around what we're going to be doing basically with the new year and what that's going to look like. So from this training, I want it to be basically as helpful as possible. I want you guys to get as much from this training as you can. I want it to be as useful as possible as well. It's designed for you guys as teachers. That's what I wanted it to be for. I think there's so much health and fitness out there that is not tailored towards teaching. And what it does, it just makes it very challenging and very difficult for us to apply it. I think teaching is a really difficult job to build health and fitness around, but it is not impossible. And I do think it helps you show up in the job as a better version of you. It makes it feel like you've got control of the job rather than the job having control of you because you're building that thing outside of the classroom. And I do genuinely believe that with the right habits, the right routine, the right structure, it is 100% possible. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. So from this webinar, I want you to come away with some real actionable tips that you can put in place and some things that you can put in place from the get-go from January, whenever you want to start building them in. So we're going to be talking about how to balance your health and fitness around your teaching career in a sustainable way. I genuinely believe that a fad diet, any sort of shred is not appropriate for teaching. So if this is what you want, then this call is probably not for you. It's not a shred. It's not one of these really restrictive diets. It's not going to be something that's going to keep you, not sustained and not full. It's just not appropriate in teaching. You need energy. You need to be able to energize your body and feel fueled to be able to show up in front of the children in a way that is positive. You need to be able to stick to your goals and it needs to be sustainable and realistic. We can't be training for an hour and a half every single day, 6 days a week. It's got to be realistic what you're doing. And that's what this is all about today. I want you to show you can still make some changes, you can still make traction towards your goals and it feel manageable. It's not going to feel like you're on sort of this really strict and rigid program, and that's what I want it to be all about. So I am actually going to give you a sample workout structure, a PDF, which just shows you some guidance and some ideas of what you could do in the gym as a structure or at home if that's what you want. So I'm going to share with that at the end, and I'm going to give you some recipes as well that you can put in place and take away from this training and just trial basically if at home and just give yourself some idea of how you can get there. During the actual call itself today, we are going to be going through the exact formula of how you can drop between 5 and 10 kg before the Easter holidays. So that's around 12 weeks in total, depending on your school and obviously what your holidays are. But that's what we're going to be going over today. I want you to come away with the exact formula to do that. So if you are ready to go, then I would suggest you grab either the notes up on your phone, a pen and paper, whatever it might be, so you can write these down, because these really explicit steps are going to really help you break down exactly what you're going to be doing over that period of time, over those 12 weeks, to be able to get the best and the most from it, basically. And that's what we're going to dive into today. Before we do that, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit just so you guys know who I am. So I'm Chrissy. I'm a teacher. I was a teacher, and now I'm a teacher and online fitness coach, as you guys probably know from my content and things. So I taught in primary schools for 6 years. I was always in year 5 and year 6, so sort of towards the end of primary school years. And yeah, I absolutely love teaching. I don't ever want this to ever feel like teaching is this negative thing against it, because I don't believe that. I think teaching can be such a rewarding and positive job, but I do believe that teachers do need to look after themselves outside the classroom for that to be possible. But I did notice when I was in my teaching career that it was hard for me to manage my health and fitness, and everyone around me found it difficult as well. And what I found was that when I actually took hold of it, I just enjoyed the job so much more. And those around me that didn't found it more hard. They found that they was losing themselves quite a lot to the job. They had no boundaries, and without the boundaries set, it became a lot more difficult. And what I noticed was that there's a big gap because the problem was that all of the fitness plans that were out there just didn't work for me. They didn't work for my job, they didn't work for my role, and people didn't understand the commitment, the energy that it takes to show up day in, day out, and how hard it can be. And that's the gap that I wanted to fill. I wanted to show ladies that it is possible to be healthy, fit, and prioritize yourself around your teaching career, be confident outside the classroom, have a life outside the classroom, but still love your job and do amazing in your job and, get work towards those promotions that you want in your career and feel good in yourself and your career as well. And that's kind of what this is all about. It's really about developing you holistically and learning how to balance yourself inside and out of the classroom. So I guess when the reason that I started the Teacher Fitness Academy was, like I said, nobody understands how hard it is to be a teacher. Nobody understands that you can't go to the gym in the morning because you've got to be in school by 7:30. It's really, really tricky, and you've got a commute to get there. And then after work, your energy levels are absolutely minus 10 million. So going to the gym after work is really hard as well, or working out after work is really hard as well. And nobody understands that actually, by the time Wednesday comes and you've had staff meeting, you're crawling to the finish line, and all you can do is come home. You can't even have a conversation with your other half, let alone decide what you're having for dinner. And I think it's so underrated how difficult the job can be emotionally, physically. It's a really tough job. And I think when I kind of really wanted to invest in my own health and fitness when I was a teacher, all of the plans that were out there, I found it hard to be able to do them and implement them successfully. And it left me feeling like a failure time and time again because it just wasn't realistic. The food didn't work. I wasn't energized enough. The plan didn't work. I couldn't go to the gym as much as what I wanted me to. And I just found that I wasn't making the progress that I wanted to make because I just was constantly chasing my tail and just not making that movement in the way that I wanted to do it. So that's why I developed this. I wanted there to be a place where teachers could come for there to be a workout plan that works for them, a meal plan and that support that works for them. But not only that, a whole community of ladies like you guys who are in a similar position, really working on themselves and realizing that you don't going to be perfect all of the time, but having that support there and that community there keeps you going, and that's what it's all about. I think for me, with the teaching element, it really showed up with IBS. That's how I really suffered in teaching. I've spoken to a lot of teachers who do struggle with this, and I don't know if anyone else does, but I found that my digestion was just out of whack all the time because I just couldn't find what worked for me. I couldn't find that routine. My stress was up here. And before I built it in, I just struggled so much with how I felt. And that's how the burnout really manifested it in myself. And I think the burnout's different in everybody. But before I took control of my health and fitness, that's definitely how it looked for me. And when I did manage to take control of my health and fitness, the impact was massive because I felt so much better in myself. My IBS symptoms reduced. I was able to show up in the classroom not in pain every day because my stomach was aching, but with confidence and actually in front of the children, I just felt so much better in myself. And then I realized actually putting this time into me makes such a difference. It has such an impact, and I'm showing up as a better version of me, a better teacher. And then I think finally the Teacher Fitness Academy is there because you guys, you need someone who gets it, right? You can't, it's very hard to explain to someone who's not done it how hard the job is. And I think if you've never been a teacher, it's very difficult to understand how hard it can be at times. And there are just some weeks where it is not possible to do everything that you need to do. And that's absolutely okay. But it really is about those weeks and showing up consistently where you can and trying to make it work is basically what we're going to dive into today. So before we dive in, a couple of transformations to show you to prove that when someone gets it and when you've got the right plan in place, you can 100% make it work. So these are some of the ladies that have been through the academy so far. This is Dominica. She dropped 5 kg by increasing her calories, actually. So that was something that we went on. Rosalind went through a whole reverse diet protocol. So we were really focused on building her strength, changing her body composition. Katie's 12 kg down between these two photos. Felt amazing on a holiday this year. And then Shannon, again, at the end, she's 5 kg down. You could tell we really focused on strength and toning here. So this is to you, like, it is not impossible, guys. You can 100% do this. I promise you, you can. You just need the right tools. The recipe is missing, the support's missing a little bit, maybe. So having that accountability and that help and the tools to get you there, you can do it. I promise you, you can do it. And that's what you're going to get from this training today. So let's go over the exact formula that you need as a teacher to drop between 5 and 10 kg in the next 12 weeks. Grab your pen and paper if you're ready to get this down, guys. Make sure that you've got it in front of you so you know exactly what you're doing, what you're ticking off, what things you want to get done over the next 12 weeks, and set the intention with it. I'm going to be breaking this down into 5 really simple, actionable steps because I think keeping it simple is key. Fitness does not need to be complicated, it can be nice and simple. And I think we do not need anything else to think about as teachers. There's a lot going on anyway. So keeping it as simple as possible, being able to stick to it where you can. And I'm going to show you the rules and sort of some structure just so you can put these bits in place and have that positive mindset going into the new year. So I think the first part of it is really looking at your timeline in a little bit more of a teacher timeline. How many of you guys are like, right, I really want to go and drop so much weight in the next 3 months, 4 months, whatever, but you're not looking at it in the favor of what your day to day and your week to week actually looks like. As a teacher, we know it's a lifestyle. Your weeks, your months, they don't revolve in normal weeks and months. Even your new year starts in September. Like January might be the new year for everyone else, but your new year and your fresh start is September. And it's like, this is where we need to sort of shift our mindset of, okay, I'm going to do this for the next 12 weeks. I'm going to do this for the next 10 weeks or whatever it is. But it's actually looking at it in terms of half terms and planning out your fitness goals into that. Because actually, there's going to be a half term between these two. There's going to be a half term break, and you're not going to be as in routine as what you would be on the other week. So that week needs to be treated completely differently depending on what you're doing. And this is why your goals should align with the half term periods that you're in school, and your plans should as well. So Monday the 5th of January, this is general obviously because I don't know when all you guys go back, but most people are going back on Monday the 5th of January. And Monday the 30th of March is the first day of the Easter holidays. So you've obviously got spring one there and you've got spring two. One is likely to be a 6 week holiday, one is likely to be a 5 week holiday. You've got half term Feb in between. So I want you to really start looking at your timeline in between with those chunks in mind, okay? So your first chunk is that spring one. You're going into it, whether that's 6 weeks or 5 weeks for you, however it falls. That's your first 6 week chunk, okay? You've then got half term. We're not going to go completely bonkers and off track in half term, no, but it's a different routine, okay? It's time to have a bit more fun, a bit more flexibility. Enjoy your meals, try some new meals, do a workout because you're starting to enjoy it and build it in. But then it's really looking at that spring two block again and be like, right, I've got another 5 weeks, let's go. Routines in place. I train this day, and this day during that time. And it's keeping that routine and intention around it. If you do not think about your life in terms of these half-termly blocks, it's very difficult as a teacher to stick to something because something kicks off, something gets a bit chaotic, and then all of a sudden you're falling off track and you're like, okay, I don't know where I am with my plan or anything. Whereas if you know at week 4 during spring one, when it all gets chaotic and the kids go a bit crazy and things are getting hard and you're tired, if you know you've only got 2 weeks left of that current part of your or current phase of whatever plan you're at, it just feels that little bit easier to keep going. So that's the first step. I want you to write down what your dates are. So when are you starting off in the new year? When are you going back to school? What are the dates between your first half term and February half term? And then finally, what are the dates between when you go back after February half term and the Easter holidays? Write those dates down so you've got them. You know exactly how many weeks you've got to set the tone within the new year, and that's going to take you to Easter. Guys, you have got such a good chunk of time there to really get your head in the game and make huge changes. You can drop between 5 and 10 kg by the Easter holidays. The weather's getting warmer. It's starting to feel a little bit better. Maybe you've got holidays booked. You can be feeling better by that time. And this is what it's about. It's about taking hold of the time you've got. So really start to compartmentalize your time and look at it as your time as a teacher timeline. Okay. You're not working a 9 till 5. You're not working a different job. So look at it as your teacher timeline. So that's job number one that you need to do today. Break up your half terms into the 6 weekly chunks, 5 weekly chunks, whatever it works out for you. It's different a little bit everywhere. And then write down when Feb half term is going to be. So you can see, okay, I've got this chunk and then this chunk and then it's the Easter. That's where my first goal point is going to be. That's where my first turn was going. That's what I'm going to aim towards initially. Okay, so that's step number one, thinking about your time as a teacher. Step number two is obviously going to be looking at that movement. So it's workouts. Now, this is where I'm going to tell you explicitly what I think you need to do to be able to see results as a teacher in terms of getting jobs done, ticking it off, and it feeling like something that is achievable. I would like you to go and scrap any gym plan. I'm just going to mute. I can hear someone. Sorry, it's just as I'm talking. It's just coming through on the audio. There we go. Cool. Right, guys. Sorry. So, what I want you to do is just have a little look at your gym plan, whatever that might be. And I feel like a big problem is we see all of these plans on Instagram. We see all of these things out there. People are running marathons on the weekend like it's a normal thing to do. People are running half marathons on a Saturday morning. I think people are heading into the gym and they're doing these an hour and a half long workouts. And guys, it's just not realistic. So I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do as a minimum to see results as a teacher. And I think if you are at an absolute starting point, this is 100% what you need to fit in and build in. And I would only go with this for the first 12 weeks of your plan and see what results you can make with it. Because setting yourself up for failure with workouts is 100% one of the main reasons why people fall off track within the first 3 weeks of January. So give yourself a workout plan that actually works. So first of all, you need to decide whether you want to do a home or a gym workout plan. Okay. It doesn't matter which one you want to do, either is fine. I think if you want to long term focus on strength, toning, and sort of changing your body composition a little bit, the gym can be really beneficial. However, if there's a lot of anxiety there, you're a little bit worried about it, I completely get it. We have to go at prime times as teachers. Then starting with a home plan is fine as well. It's just about getting a bit of movement in. And this is more about starting to build that structure in and showing up consistently. Now, this is where you're going to set a commitment to yourself. You are going to pick 3 days in that week where you are going to get that workout done no matter what happens. This is so important. Setting yourself set days is really important because you will have days where things flag up, you will have days where things get pushed. And the problem is in teaching, we cannot predict what is going to happen. So you need to have some sort of structure that just tells yourself, even if it is a really long and hard day, I'm going to get that workout done in the evening no matter what, or I'm going to get it done in the morning before my day so it can't get interfered with. You need to commit to 3 days. What I would do if this was me is focus on the days where I could feel like I could leave a little bit earlier. So I wouldn't be putting this on a day that has staff meeting. I might be putting it on a day where I've got PPA planning because I know that my energy is a little bit higher on those days and it's a little bit more manageable and it's a little bit more feasible. I personally would be putting one of those sessions in either on a Saturday or a Sunday because I think 2 days in the week is very manageable and one day at the weekend. If you want to go for free in the week because you're that type of person, you'd rather do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's fine, you go for it. But you need to look at your plan and really figure out what days are best. And you need to set that tone and commit to them. Tell your partner, tell your sister, tell your work colleague, whatever it might be. Just set that accountability with somebody that you're going on these set days because then that means that you're showing up for yourself, you're answering to yourself, and you're putting that in place for yourself on those days as well. So you need to decide when they're going to be. So what workouts you're going to do, what days you're going to train, get them in your schedule, get them in your plan. For that whole chunk of that first half term, you're going to show up on those days, you're going to get to the gym. Even if it is, you're going and it's a 20-minute session instead of a half an hour session or a 40-minute session. That's what you need to think about. The final point that I want to talk about around workouts is I do not want anyone spending more than an hour in the gym. It's not needed, it's not necessary. You do not need to do it to see the results that you want to see. You can get a really effective strength-based plan in place in 40 minutes. All of my plans that I do are around 40 to 45 minutes long. If you want to throw some steps in at the end, then great, it tops it up to an hour. But you do not need to be spending hours in the gym, guys, to see results. I promise you, you don't. Go in with some staple exercises, get them done, tick them off, record what you're doing, and make progress. That's where you're going to see the changes, and that's where you're going to see the shift. So step 2 is getting those workouts sorted, picking your days, deciding when you're going to do it, and committing to yourself on those days as well. Step number 3 is all about taking control of food. So this part is obviously a massive part to a fat loss journey. It's taking control of that food and trying to really reduce that food noise. So I can't sit here and give you all like a personalized meal plan. I'm not going to do that. That's for my clients only. It's like the workout plan. It's going to be more general, right? So I can give you some recipe ideas, which I'm going to do at the back of this call to get you started. But there are some rules that I would put in place for you guys to have a think about when you're implementing these. So these are some of the things that you need to put in place to be able to see those changes between the 5 to 10 kg drop by Easter. You need to be in a calorie deficit. That's so important. So that's the first part of it. You need to be working at a calorie deficit. It's just the science behind it. You can't lose weight unless you're in a calorie deficit. So you need to work out what that is for you and put yourself in a calorie deficit to get from A to B. Number 2, and I know this is one that lots of you guys skip, you need to be eating breakfast every single day, okay? You need to be eating breakfast. I know it's hard. I know it's tough in the morning. Get something you can prep, grab out the fridge, have it when you get to school if you really struggle to eat early in the morning. Have it when you're loading your computer up and you're just checking your emails, okay? It takes 5-10 minutes, but it is so good because I promise you it will stop your morning snacking on those biscuits when you get your coffee. It will stop you, snacking later on. It has such a knock-on effect if you're not eating breakfast because you're just hungrier throughout the day. And I promise you, getting that extra meal in will just stop all of those behaviors as you go through the day and into the evening as well. It really has a knock-on effect. Number three, and this is something that I massively promote in my coaching, is not limiting or restricting. If you are telling yourself you can't have something, you can't have that chocolate, you can't have Biscoff, even though it's your favorite thing, you are going to want it more and more and more. The way that you can have this in a healthy way, in a sustained way, is by not punishing yourself around it. It's about building it into your plan. So allow yourself to have a little bit of chocolate, but allow yourself to have it, maybe in chocolate chip form on your overnight oats, or allow yourself to have a bit of chocolate, but maybe you have one chocolate treat in the evening with a cup of tea before bed. That might be your treat, and knowing that you've got that coming, it'll ear you on because you're not feeling restricted. You're enjoying your diet. That's the whole goal with this. We want you to enjoy your diet and your plan. We don't want you to feel like you're on a diet plan, basically, is what we want to talk about. Number four is prioritizing protein. This will make such a difference to your body composition. It'll make such a difference to your hunger levels, and it'll make such a difference to your snacking. You guys need to be having protein with every single meal. It's so important for hormones. It's so important as women to keep it nice and stable. And it's so I think it's so underrated for women to be eating protein. And in the past, there's been so much fear around it. I think it is quite often, it's had that knock-on effect, but trying to get a really good chunk of protein with each meal is so important. And then finally, not skipping meals. So really taking hold of it. This is just food hygiene, I feel like. You guys it's about really being healthy with our mindset. And I think we're all like, I think if you were to explain this to a child, right, you'd be concerned if a child was never eating breakfast when they came into your classroom, and they wouldn't work the best that they could. And I think it's often like looking at ourselves like a child a little bit and being like, okay, I'm not doing this. Why? Because I know I'm not going to show up as the best version of me when I'm not doing that. Like it is sometimes we do these things without realizing we're like, actually, yeah, that would be a bit of a problem if that child was doing that, or they weren't doing that, or they weren't feeling good when they were doing this, or they was coming in tired all the time. And I think sometimes it is looking at that a bit more of a zoomed out way and looking at sort of your auditing your lifestyle a little bit. So taking control of that nutrition is so important. Step number four is learn to prioritize. So this is where I'm going to be real with you guys. There is going to be a point in the next term where it will all go a bit chaotic. Usually parents' evening week, if you have that in spring too. Or it could be when you've got a trip, maybe you've got a residential, maybe you've got just a hell of a week and it's just gone a bit chaotic for whatever reason. But I can promise you there'll be at least one week where it feels a little bit like this. Maybe you're ill or something comes up. This is where you really need to learn to prioritize. I think in any other jobs, it's quite easy to stay that consistent throughout because it's not as draining, it's not as stressful, there's not as many unpredictable moments. Whereas in teaching, one thing I can predict is that there will be unpredictable moments and there will be weeks and days where it does feel hard and does feel challenging. So what I want you to do is think about sort of all your goals in a bit of a hierarchy. So you've got your workouts, your movement, your food, and sort of stress levels are things that you need to be looking at. So in terms of this hierarchy, the top of the hierarchy there is the number one thing that you need to be focusing on to continue to aid the fat loss. So stress needs to be focused on first of all. So this is really looking after yourself. It's been a long day, you're feeling on edge, you're feeling quite anxious, you're feeling completely stressed out. The last thing you want to be doing to your body is pushing it to do a workout. The last thing you want to be doing to your body is not getting any sleep that morning because you're making yourself get up and you've only had 5 hours sleep. That's not going to help your stress levels. Sometimes it's actually accepting rest is better. I'm going to make myself, get myself back to baseline, and then I can start to build these things in. Prioritizing yourselves, rebalancing that stress is such an important way of doing it. Number two is food. If you can't focus on anything else, focus on the food because it doesn't take any extra time. Actually, it helps you with time if you're prepping your food. And you can do that. You can do it at the weekends. You can get your partner on board. You can get the food ready to go. If you can't do anything else, focus on the food. Number three would be focus on movement. So if you can't get your workouts in, just focus on getting that daily movement in. Focus on getting your steps in. That will really massively help you towards your goals if the workouts really do not feel possible that week. Focus on it as a hierarchy. Don't see yourself as a failure. Don't see yourself that you're dropping things, but really look at it as, okay, I'm still moving towards my goals. I'm focusing on the hierarchy. I know the things that I'm doing are still having an impact. Yes, because I'm not ticking everything off, it might be slightly slower, but I'm still moving towards my goals. And what's better, moving towards your goals at 50% or moving to or not moving towards your goals at all? And I think that's the mindset you need to have, learning to prioritize. Final step then to really get you there, and I like to call this sort of like the fit teacher mindset. Mindset is absolutely huge in teaching and fitness. I think if your mindset is not strong, it's very, very hard to stay consistent and stay on track. You need to have that mindset of why this fitness journey is important to you. You can't just be because you want to drop a little bit of fat. Well, it can be, but you need to have a real reason. Like you want to feel better in yourself. Like it needs to be, you need to remember the real reason why we're doing this. And you want to be that better version of you. So I always like to put it into fit, and this falls down into three main areas. So number one is fatigue. If you on those days, and these are the questions I want you to ask yourself, do you know on those days where you've got a to-do list as long as your arm and you are in an iron about whether to go to the gym or finish off this to-do list. And there's definitely things on that to-do list that you don't need to do. It's something that could be done tomorrow or next week. You know, it's not urgent. This is where I want you to ask yourself these three questions when it's on one of your gym days. So number one, fatigue. Will I show up as a better teacher if I'm tired or rested? So when you're sat there with this really long list, are you going to show up as a better teacher tomorrow if you actually start at 6 o'clock, leave the building, go to the gym, rest up and come back fresh? Or are you going to show up as a better teacher if you take the marking home, work until 10 o'clock at night, and then you can't sleep because you're worrying about the next day, and then it rolls on and on and on? You guys get it? You're not going to. And I think these questions have to be there. And sometimes even having them written down somewhere helps so much because, like, we know the answers to these, right? We know that we are going to show up as a better version of us when we are rested, when we're not as tired. And it's sometimes realizing that actually we're doing this, not just for ourselves, but we're doing this for us as a teacher. And the teacher like I'm doing this for the teacher me, and the children in the class are going to benefit from that. So it's actually really selfless for you to put that marking away. It can be done tomorrow. Put whatever it is away. It can be done tomorrow and get that movement in for you. Number two is the I of it, which is the impact, which is obviously what we just spoke about. So will this task have a direct impact on the children, or is my energy more important? So this links very much to what we've just spoke about. So the task that you're doing in hand, is this necessary? Is it going to have a direct impact on the children tomorrow? Or is my energy, preserving my energy for my lesson that I'm teaching in the morning, is that more important? It's asking yourself that question. And finally, it's the T, which is time. Asking yourself realistically, after a whole day of teaching, probably 9 hours, 10 hours in that building, can you spare yourself 40 minutes? Are you worth 40 minutes of your own time? And I think once you start to ask yourself that, you're like, actually, it feels a lot easier to say no, because I know how hard it is to shut that book and be like, I'm not going to do any more. I know how hard it is to be like, okay, this is my boundary. But honestly, guys, having this mindset and just asking yourself these questions will allow you to really start to set some healthy boundaries between you, the classroom, your work self, and yourself, because that's what you are. You've got your work self, you've got yourself, and this version of you needs to be looked after to be able to show up as a good version of you in the work self, in your work self as well. So they're the 5 methods and the 5 steps, guys. So just some more transformations before we dive into our next steps. So these are other guys who have smashed the program and done absolutely amazing, and just showing again that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve with the right plan in place, with the right intention, and just getting yourself there with that accountability and support as well. So some next steps for you. So I would like you to message me the word reset if you would like access to a sample workout plan PDF and a sample workout sort of like recipe ideas. These are not obviously specific to you or your calories. I cannot do that for everybody, but it will give you some ideas around different meals you can try, some different high protein options. So if you would like access to either of these, they can be gym workouts or home workouts. I've got a plan for both to share with you. Message me the word reset. I'm just showing you how it would look on the app through these little videos here. So this is how it looks on the coaching app. So if the ladies who are inside the program, you'll be quite familiar with this. The version you get will be more of like a PDF version of it, but I just want to show you like how it will be broken down into different exercises so you can see what they would be and how you can start to implement it. So if you want access to either of these, please message me the word reset after this call via WhatsApp, and I'll ping them over to you probably tomorrow now, actually, because it is getting a bit late. But if you message me the word reset, I'll get them to you tomorrow. So you can have a look over them over Christmas, and you can get your recipes, try out some different ideas, get some easy to prep classroom staples in place, and start to implement some of the things that we spoke about on this call. And then finally, if you would like to hear a little bit more around my 8 week challenge, which is starting on Monday, the 5th of January, also message me the word offer after this call because for the first three ladies, this actually goes live on Boxing Day, but I'm sharing it with you guys a little bit early. The first three ladies are going to get 20% off the 8 week challenge. So, yeah, if you are interested at all and you are thinking this is the year you want a little bit more support, you want to do it properly, you want to lock in for 2025, feel free to message me the word offer after this call and I'll explain the next steps for you. Anyway, guys, I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys found that helpful. I'll be sending out a feedback form after this, so I would really appreciate if you guys could fill that out for me. And then, yeah, like I said, if you want the workout plans, message me the word reset privately. And if you want to hear a little bit more about the 8 week challenge and what that entails, message me the word offer and I'll share a little bit more around that as well. Or message both if you're super keen. But yeah, anyway, it was lovely to see all you guys. Lovely to see some familiar faces as well. Thank you so much for coming. Some of the ladies, there's a couple of ladies here who are in the coaching as well who wanted some extra training. And then all new ladies, it's so lovely to see you as well. But yeah, thank you guys, and I will catch you all on the next one.